Penny Wong has avoided answering whether the Albanese government has managed to make contact with the Iranian national football team over fears they will be persecuted when they return home after they refused to sing their national anthem. Appearing on ABC's Insiders on Sunday, Wong was asked whether the players would be safe after staging the silent protest during the Women's Asian Cup on Monday. The team had arrived in Australia days before the US-Israel airstrikes against Iran and then faced South Korea 2 days after their supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, was killed in a missile attack. Mohammad Reza Shahbazi, the host of the channel's Footnote program and considered a radical mouthpiece for the Islamic regime, said authorities must label the women as traitors. In Iran, treason is a capital offense punishable by death. Calls are growing for the Albanese government to urgently intervene and help the women before they have to return to Iran following their final match on Sunday night, with a petition to Home Affairs Minister Tony Burke drawing 44,000 signatures. Wong said Australians had been moved watching the team play in Australia. "It has been really moving for Australians to see them here," she said. "We know this regime has brutally repressed many of its own people. We know this regime has brutally oppressed many Iranian women. And we stand in solidarity with the men and women of Iran, and particularly Iranian women and girls." Wong refused to give more detail after Insider's host David Spears asked if the government had been able to contact players without their government-appointed minders present. "I can't comment on that. Obviously, these are ultimately matters that decisions I would be making." The anthem incident on the Gold Coast isn't the first time an Iranian national team has staged a protest about the regime. At the 2022 Men's World Cup, the players did not sing the national anthem or celebrate either of the 2 goals they scored in their opening match against England. The team's actions came as a women's protest movement against the regime was met by a brutal crackdown by Iran's Revolutionary Guard. Last month it was reported that 2 Iranian women's players had pulled out of the team shortly before the Asian Cup, as another protest movement was being put down in her country. One of them, defender Kosar Kamali, wrote on social media, "When the heart is wounded and the soul is tired, football is no longer a refuge. I can't pretend everything is normal. This decision is not out of anger, it is out of awareness. It is not out of disrespect, it is out of respect for my conscience. It's understood the women have been unable to contact their families caught up in the ongoing conflict after a national internet blackout was issued in Iran." The team and support staff sang the national anthem before Thursday's 4-0 loss against the Matildas, with some declaring the players hostages of the regime. "These brave and peace-loving women footballers are at risk. They have been threatened by the regime to sing the anthem and salute. Please be their voice," one Iranian Australian commented online. Wong addressed growing public concern about Australia's military involvement in the escalating conflict with Iran. She stated firmly that Australia would not send ground troops under any circumstances. "We are not participating in offensive action against Iran," she said. "We have made very clear the basis of the decision and the parameters of our engagement." Wong acknowledged that Iranian drone and missile attacks had prompted several Middle Eastern countries to seek Australia's assistance. "We have been asked, and we will consider in accordance with those principles," she said. If a decision is made, I am sure we will be transparent with the Australian people. Wong rejected suggestions that collaboration with the United States under a UK-US amounted to subservience. I don't accept that framing, she said. What we are doing is working on how we best protect our sovereignty in a more contestable world. Wong emphasized that deterrence remains central to Australia's defence strategy. Wong then turned to the massive consular operation underway to repatriate Australians stranded across the Middle East after Iranian strikes disrupted flights. She confirmed that about 11,000 Australians had already been assessed as eligible for evacuation. We've had 9 flights depart Dubai for Australia, and more are scheduled today, Wong said. 2 flights are expected to arrive in Australia this afternoon, with around 151 Australians on board.